stayed up a little late last night watching some of the Stanley Cup finals, drinking a little too much wine, but having a great time. So my magic mind this morning is helping me more than ever to just come back to center, come back to my energy. And I just got new runners yesterday, new walking shoes. So I'm excited to go out for my morning walk. They feel so good on my feet. And I'm just checking my phone before I'm about to head out. And there's a dick pic, directly sent to me from, through the various things where I get emails when we send out the newsletter. So I quickly send it to my assistant, and I'm like, I do the emoji like this, and I'm like, please block. I didn't even read the whole message that's with it. And I just notice I disassociate. I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? It's disgusting that someone would choose to do that when all I do is serve humanity. Like, fuck you. So, like, afraid to be angry though, because if I get angry around like an asshole man, like all of that unpredictability of what they're gonna do, I'm just noticing all these layers of disassociation, anger, just like push it away, dismiss it. But if I really like sit in it, I'm just disgusted. So I'm just gonna go for a walk and process this morning. And you're gonna watch one of the most noble men I've known on the planet now. Part 2 of this incredible podcast, where people do show up and do the deep work, where people do take ownership of their wounds and traumas, where they don't project their crap onto others. I'm so grateful for John Wineland. And I'm so grateful that this time I'm aware and I'm slowing down of how I react when inappropriate male attention, misuse of sexual energy comes my way. So you got me in full triggered moment here with the intro video to this podcast. The transparency and the connection available as you listen to this man. It's so inspiring. Enjoy. Welcome to Intimate Conversations. Become the one. Intimacy is an inside job. So you're in a relationship, and I could get this wrong, but I believe you're in a relationship that you took a break from and then you're back together. Did I get that right?
Yeah, well, so this is new news, right? But we're also in a process of conscious uncoupling. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we I'll just give a little context to that. And we completed, basically three years together with a 9 month, or actually almost a year break.
Yeah.
And we've completed beautifully, like really, really beautifully, the most beautiful sort of completion I've ever experienced.
Wow.
And but yes, so these issues were very much up in our relationship, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes what I think happens is that your nervous systems don't, let me see how I can frame this. What you need your partner to do, right, is not possible for long periods of time of practice, right? So she needed things from me that would take time for my nervous system to acclimate to, right? And I needed things from her that her nervous system would need months or years to expand into.
Okay.
And because neither of us was willing to wait that long, right? We recognize like, oh shit, like we actually can't honor each other's nervous systems in the way that's kind and loving and, compassionate over the next year or 2 or 3. And so we decided to complete with that understanding, but it was from very much of a I can't ask you to do what your nervous system's not able to do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I can't demand your nervous system change in the way that I really need it to change for me to
Yeah.
feel good in this relationship,
Yeah.
um, immediately.
Mm.
And so we realized, like, are we willing to wait another year or two? Are we both willing to do the work that the other one wants? There was negotiation in that, and like, maybe I don't want to do that work right now. And
Mm.
and so it was just this really honest and beautiful uncoupling. And so we've been in that process for the last, month and a half or so, which will
Wow.
be news to people, right? Because, I was on her podcast and da 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 da. So,
Mm.
hopefully by the time this comes out, well, we haven't gone public with this at all. So,
Mm. Thank you. This isn't airing for a couple of months, so hopefully we'll
good,
all
good, great.
align and I'll,
Yeah, no, we really wanted to be in the process
yeah,
together
yeah,
and individually, and not, social media is so strange, and people project all kinds of things onto me and to her. And we really just wanted to be in our cocoon of grief around the whole thing because we love
yeah,
each other so much, you know?
yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm
Well,
sure your relationship, I'm sure there's so much love, right? And
and I'm still living there and we're still friends and I will say it's just more, I want to be able to consciously uncouple at the depth that I was longing in the relationship. So I'm feeling kind of like I'm processing by myself with my friend,
yeah.
just having lunch and dinner together kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, but not doing like the depth of intimacy dyads and the depth of gratitude. And
Yeah.
I'm still a little bit walking on eggshells. Not bad. Um, sounds like yours is at the next level. That's quite inspiring to me.
Oh no, we've
Um,
had some rows in
have
this, right?
you?
Oh yeah, there's been
Okay.
blaming, and there's been, but every time,
Yeah.
um, in the process, we'll stay with it. Like, we won't. Nobody leaves the room
Yeah.
until we get to the deeper, vulnerable truth,
Nice. Okay.
and and nobody leaves the room until the other person's experience is honored.
Thank you. Okay.
Even
That's
if it's
humongous.
different, it's humongous. It's the most important piece of this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You probably don't agree and she doesn't agree. It's not about
Nope.
agreement.
No, we have different realities, different experiences, da 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 da.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if her experience. Here's the thing that I see in couples who do well and stay, and whether they stay together or not,
Yeah.
that they're committed to honoring each other's experience.
Hmm.
So his experience might be, you've been a raging bitch the last 3 months, and here's why, and da 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 da, and here's the thing, and here's all the ways that you haven't seen what I've done for you and how
Right.
committed I've been, and da 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 da. I imagine if I asked him, that would be something like that. I know men
Version of
enough
that.
to
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and it might not align with your
Reality.
version of reality, but it's still his.
Correct.
And for you to be devotional to love is for you to honor, for you to soothe his nervous system,
Yeah.
is to honor his experience. I mean, there's nothing more um, jarring to a nervous system than to be told that your experience of reality is wrong.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. I hear you.
And
Absolutely.
yeah. And so in our breakup, those are the rules that we've had. Like, don't nobody leaves the room
Right.
until we're vulnerable, until we get to the vulnerable truth, and
Yeah.
nobody leaves the room until both of our experiences are honored. And
Right.
we've been really great at that. And it's led to an amazing, beautiful,
Mm.
lots of tears and lots of,
Yeah.
hugging and lots of, she threw me a really beautiful birthday party, for my birthday last week. And
Oh, happy
yeah,
birthday.
I mean, it's been really great. But those skills have
Yes.
really been necessary.
Wow. And
Keep
when you,
practice.
yeah, I want to talk about this failure and recommitment.
Yeah.
So, those are the rules. And even in your uncoupling, those are the rules. So how do you know when the recommitment isn't going to be there? Like, how did you really get to, I'm not willing to do the work, she's not willing to do the work for each of your nervous systems to be who you need to be for each other? So there was failures along the way and a recommitment,
Yeah.
but now there's a commitment to uncouple.
Yeah.
How did you come to that together? Did you come to that in your own work with yourself? Did you come to that with your men's group? All of the
Yeah.
above.
Yeah. All of the above. Yeah, all of the above. Like each of us, she has a very deep group of women that she checks in with. I
Yeah,
have a deep group of men I check in with.
yeah,
We would be like, hey, here's the issues we keep coming up against. Here's what
yeah,
she's willing to do. Here's
yeah,
what I'm willing to do.
yeah.
Uh, Asking more of each other is abusive.
Mm,
Asking somebody to have a bigger nervous system than they have is a form of abuse, I think. And
wow. Okay.
and people do it all the time. We just don't
Mm,
recognize it. And
mm,
so we really got to the point like we don't want to be abusive to each other. We don't want to
no.
keep demanding that the other's nervous system be able to handle this. We don't
Right.
want to keep asking that the other's nervous system be able to handle this.
Right.
And so what we got to was um, a really beautiful, we played this out.
Mm, yeah.
This out. And
Mm,
at some point, life just kind of decided for us, if that makes sense.
mm,
Like
mm,
I'm always my tendency is to dig in, go deeper, recommit, right? And because I'm a relationship guy, right? I'm devoted to,
yeah.
I'm very loyal and and I'll always keep, what can I change? What can I change?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in this instance, it was more like life is just kind of calling us to complete. Like we came together to like
Mm,
complete in a really different way than we did the first time we broke up.
yeah.
And and yeah, and so it all just made sense to try to keep kind of asking each other's nervous system to be
Mhm.
bigger than it was. We both felt would be abusive, and so we decided to.
Mm. Thank you. Help me understand the difference between maybe I'm being abusive to ask his nervous system to do things, um, as opposed to make a request when you said this, it really, really hurt. Could you have a look at this, that, and the other? I
Yeah.
do know I had a very big integration of what I was wanting from him. I got that I would be okay when he changed. Okay, that's not going to work.
No,
Um, and I got that he was the source of my wholeness. Okay, that's not going to work.
no.
So as I did that integration on myself, hour and a half crying with my counselor, um, I saw him, felt him through the eyes of compassion that I'd never reached before, because he was the source of all of the issues.
Mhm,
And then I had wholeness and I had compassion, but simultaneously in that moment, I said, "Oh, this doesn't work.
mhm.
I've been trying to make it work and it has never worked."
Yeah.
Um, and I thought I could encourage him, allure him, invite him. I thought I could
Yeah.
do all the things.
Yeah.
Um, no, and as you said that, it really stung when I heard you go, "Oh, that's abusive." Like, fuck,
Yeah.
maybe that was too big a request. And it was, yeah,
Well, well, it's not too big a desire,
okay.
right? It's a beautiful
Mm,
desire. It's a beautiful desire, right? And um, part of the art and part of the reason why I don't think both partners need to be willing to do the same work at the same level, right? I
mhm.
don't. Both partners need to do the work if
Yeah,
it's going to do some work, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But we don't need to be on the same level because whoever has the most capacity, right, is responsible for having the most capacity. And,
okay.
but in many instances, that was me in my relationship, right? So I would be the one to apologize first often.
Yeah,
And I would be the one to kind of soften first, actually drop into my heart first.
yeah,
Uh, and that's not me the saying that she didn't. It's just that we've had different processes of
yeah,
dealing with the wounds of our childhood.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And so to ask his nervous system to be different,
yeah.
it's all in the delivery
Mm.
and it's all in the attachment.
Yeah, I was definitely attached.
Yeah, yeah. And so the desire to like, so let's just say, well, can we do just a little coaching play here, right? Okay. So what was like the core desire that you wanted for him, to like be able to hold you, for him to be able to, um, claim you, for him to be able to penetrate you with love? Like what was the core desire that you felt was not met?
To feel me, to stay
Mhm.
connected to me and feel me when I was anything other than happy. Like if I
Ah,
was happy, that was easy. But if
yeah,
I was anything other than happy, it was almost like I felt him go away.
yeah,
And then I got scared or I felt abandoned or then I got needy.
yeah.
So I wanted to feel felt.
Yes, great. So that's the core desire.
Yep.
So if you're in front of him and things are kind of escalating, right?
Mm,
And you're aware that that's the core desire,
mm,
and you feel that core desire in your heart, like your
mm,
little heart feels like, I need to be felt. I
mhm.
need to be felt completely, right? And that's the transmission coming through your eyes, through your breath, through your body softening, right? Right. It's hard, but it's
Mm,
certainly not impossible.
right.
And that is the thing you give him, right? That's what you bring to that moment. It's hard when things, go from 2 to 10 or 8,
Sure.
right? But there's
Sure.
all this room between 2 and 4
Oh,
or
I know
two
the
and
room.
five.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kept failing in the space of this.
Yeah, yeah. And so what we do in that 2 to 5 range of agitation and of
Yeah.
charge, it can really make all the difference. It can save us days,
Yes.
weeks,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so you being able to drop into the like
Yeah.
feel me, like I'm right here, and you can show him with your eyes, and you can show him with your heart. You can even say like feel me, right? Like
Mm,
and just stay with it, hold that pose. And he might go, I am feeling you. And you're like, just stay with it. Just like stay with feel me more. And
mm,
and you're not attached to him feeling you or how he should feel you. You're just
mm,
in the desire of being felt, in the need.
mm,
Because what
mm,
happens is most of us will abandon our own need first. Then we project somebody else is doing it on top of that. But we forget that you've left your heart. You're not feeling, I need to be felt. I need to be
yeah.
felt,
Yeah.
And
This is, mm,
well, this is, I mean, I'm making this sound easy, but it's not. This is ninja fucking practice.
yeah.
And this is why that devotion to love piece is so tricky for so many people,
This
including
is
yours truly.
so fucking good, John. Because what I'm getting is I forgot to have that devotion to love of me, to stay connected to me and my heart that was breaking. Makes
Yes.
me cry, not feeling felt in
Yeah.
either direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it takes a real asshole to feel you like this and stay mad, to stay closed. I doubt he was that much of an asshole, right? But he had moments, right? But I imagine that if this is where you started in the two to
Right.
four range and not after you guys have been at an 8 or 9 or 10 for
Yeah.
an hour,
Yeah. I
um,
wasn't vulnerable like this. I was not devoted to love of me. My heart was
yes,
closed to me because I felt so hurt. And then I
yeah,
went into strategy,
yeah,
pretty much knowing he never wants to hurt me, not saying it though, which is that was a good lesson there. But really trying to figure it out so that I could be different and not take it personally, as
yeah,
opposed to just drop the fuck into myself.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Now we
Yes.
can
So
go
let's
to
say
the
you
next.
do that. Let's say you do that. Just kind of
Okay.
play this moment out.
Yep.
So you like stay with your own heart. You feel like the core need is I need to be felt, right?
Yeah.
All the other things you think you need are peripheral. The core
Okay.
need is feel me,
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
desire is feel me. Now, if you're staying with your own heart and you're in your own heart and you're breathing and you're, feeling your own body, all the things that are really hard to do as we
Yeah.
get tricked, but you're
Yeah.
doing it. And then you put hands on
Mm,
it.
right.
You attend to his nervous system, right?
Mm,
And then you might say, like, you might say, I know you never want to hurt me.
right.
I know you never want to hurt me. And when you said that, it hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you said that, it hurt. But your hands are on him. Like
Right.
you're
So,
transmitting,
mhm.
soothing
Yeah.
first, and
Yes.
then the content of your upset second.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't do that.
You know, that's the fail and recommit part, though. I
Right.
did that many times myself too. She would say something that, offended me or was super sharp. I'd
Yep.
get, I'm a fiery guy. I'd get big, and then I recognize it pretty fast.
Mm.
Sometimes the damage had already been done, and
Yeah.
sometimes it had. Sometimes I could put my hands on her and say, hey, same team. Or sometimes she would put her hands on me and go, same team,
Mm.
and so in those moments, I mean, this is so important for so many couples, right? It's in
Mm.
those moments when we're noticing it go from 2 to 3 to 4, and then we can like use words of soothing words, like,
Mm.
you're such a good man. I know how much you love me. I know you know,
Mm.
and that hurt when you
Yeah.
said it, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff
Yeah.
helps a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. One of the things that's helped me this fail and recommit has been to myself. Normally, when I'm 54, divorced twice, how many relationships?
You look great.
I teach women here to
You look
freaking love.
fabulous. Yeah, you look great. Yeah. Yeah.
You're sweet. Um, but this normally when it gets to this stage, I'm just so harsh on myself. You did it again. You'll never get this right. Who are you to teach people? You're a fraud and all the
Yeah.
things.
Right.
It was different this time.
Yeah.
I was as awake as I could be every step of the way. I was as honest and vulnerable and creating these agreements the best I could all the way. And what are your thoughts? Like, I feel like it's until you get to this level of intimacy that the shit gets flushed up. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't happen in the honeymoon
Yeah.
phase.
No, no, no. It doesn't.
Do you agree that there's nothing wrong with, you didn't see it coming, you should have known, or no, you did your best the whole time. This is just what depth of intimacy brings.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I prefer the latter, and I think the latter is kinder.
Yeah.
As teachers and practitioners of love,
Mm.
having a space. I like to in teacher training, we use this thing called the artistic reflection. And
Mm.
basically it's after any practice, which could be a relationship, could be a teaching, could be
Mm.
a practice that you created for yourself.
Mm.
You look back and you reflect like, wow, what did I do beautifully?
Mm.
What did I do really well? And you just
Mm.
mentioned a few things.
Mm.
And then what could I have done better?
Right.
What could I have done better? And be ruthlessly honest, like you are right now. Like,
Mm.
so you're in it right now.
Mm.
And then the final question is, did I do the best I could with the information and with what I had in that moment?
Yeah.
And if that answer is yes,
Mm.
then you've done a really beautiful reflection on the practice.
Mm. Thank you. I think it's why it's very peaceful still living together for now, is because I do know I did my best. And
Yeah.
I do think he did his best.
Yeah.
I don't feel either of us was manipulative or held out or half-assed it at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that allows for kindness, compassion, gratitude, all
Yeah.
of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And something you might try, if you don't mind me just offering, is when you get back,
Mm.
model for him what it's like to like ask him if there's anything about his experience over the last 3 months that he would want to share.
Mm.
That's an incredibly generous thing to do. Most men never get that opportunity.
Mm.
Most men never get that opportunity. Like, hey, I know we've gone through a lot the last 3 months. I want to take a few minutes and just, be kind to me, be kind to my heart, but can share like what your experience has been. Like what's it been like? What was it like being with me?
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
what's it like? What was it like being with me? And then let him say it, right? Practicing your best, like keeping heart wide, the
Yeah.
wide-hearted queen of love, right?
Yeah.
Wide-hearted queen
Yeah.
of love, wide-hearted queen of love. And then he'll say a few things, and then you'll reflect back like, oh, that makes sense.
Mm.
Oh yeah, like I can understand why you feel that way. And
Mm.
I can imagine when I did this, how you felt
Might
like
have felt.
you couldn't win, or
Yeah.
you felt like she's
Mm.
just focusing on my negative parts, or you might have felt like it's never going to be enough, or you know what I mean? And
Mm.
and if you can do that, it's an incredibly generous thing, and hopefully you're modeling it. Hopefully
Sure.
he offer to do the same for you.
Yeah, but it's not required.
But
Yeah.
it's not required.
Yeah.
But
Don't do it
modeling
as a strategy. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-mm.
And that's a really beautiful thing to do in an uncoupling is to make some space to honor each other's experience
Yeah.
versus just kind of living in the kindness with all this, kind of unresolved anguish underneath, which I'm sure
Yes.
you
That's
have.
exactly where I am right now.
Yeah,
Is I've not succeeded in communicating what I call like these deeper, vulnerable places.
yeah,
Um, so I definitely, I'm here with clients. I do these beautiful VIP weekends. So when I go back, that's what I'm going to do. Is because there is I mean, it's not like eggshells bad, but it's
yeah,
still a little on the shallow fake. Let's just be kind and uncouple thing.
yeah. Light and
Um,
polite.
Light and Flight, yes.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Fawn girl is doing her next.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. But I think it would be amazing, regardless if he offers it, for me to honor and receive his experience, even if every cell inside of me disagrees, and to put myself in his shoes and get him,
yeah. And
really
get
have
him.
to and get
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
Because that's a completion right there. That's so beautiful.
That is devotion to love, Lana.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. Oh, I'm so grateful for you. Thank
Thank you.
you. Wow. Wow. We touched on this. You mentioned the teacher training. I want people to know what you're up to. And I want to actually honestly apply. I want to take my world to the next level in a group of people who are practicing at my level, who will give me the feedback that I'm looking for in a way that is devoted to love. So share about these two ways of people like dipping their toe, the
Yeah.
embodiment relationship experience, or this your fifth teacher training.
Yeah. So
General.
the embodied relationship experience is a compilation. Luckily, many years ago, I think when I first talked to you, my partner at the time was like, film everything.
Mm,
And so over the last 8, 9 years of teaching workshops, I've
mm,
filmed everything. And
amazing.
we've taken like the best 2 hours of every workshop,
Mm,
virtually every topic, including the one we just went into.
yes.
Uh, and we put it in this compository of content. There's over 1,000 hours of content. And
Nice.
in that, the thing I really love the most is we've I lead all these practices, and they're sometimes hour and a half long, sometimes 40-minute practices that
Mm,
take men and women, or men separately and women separately, into deep embodiment work.
mm,
And so people will just kind of push play, and then me or one of the teachers that I teach with will lead them through a practice that
mm.
is taken directly from a workshop. So it's never the same practice. It's
Yep.
always kind of a trance state, embodied trance state that we take people into. And
Mm,
and it's so I mean, I'm so proud of it just because those moments you never get to recreate again.
yeah.
And there's some practices in there that are just fucking amazing. And people will send me like, I spent the last hour doing this practice, and I spent the last hour with my partner doing this practice. And so you can do it as a couple at home. So it's
Mm,
a really beautiful repository of getting in the work. And,
mm. And for
and
singles too, or just for couples?
oh yeah, for both. Yeah, there's both. There's content for feminine practitioners who want
Yep.
to work on that piece.
Yep.
There's practices for women who want to work on their masculine. There's
Mm,
practices for men who want to like develop their capacity in their feminine. There's
wow.
practices.
So many.
Yes.
Mm,
So I mean it's literally, hundreds of practices,
yep.
30 breath practice. I mean, like so it's a fucking deep dive into
Mm,
anything you want, push play, and you're at home.
nice.
Teacher training, on the other hand, is you're coming into a container
Mm,
where we're leading you into this deep work in a cohort and in a tantric field where, this is the deep dive. At home, it's hard, right? Like it's hard to have the discipline to show up and hit the mat every morning.
yeah.
That's what most things show. But the teacher training is first year because it's a 3-year certification, but you don't need to come for 3 years. A lot of people just come for 1 or 2. The
Mhm,
first year is really about diving into practice.
mhm,
So we literally just steep people in very, very deep practice, kind of like if you were learning martial arts or you were learning to become a ballerina,
mhm,
right? You'd learn, you'd just be in practice. And then the second year, we start to bring you into kind of the space holding piece of what it's
Mm-hmm.
like to set up space and assist in space and hold really highly energetic spaces while you practice, going from
Mm-hmm.
practice to holding space, practice the holding space. And then in the third year, it's about creating your offering, like taking everything that you've learned and everything you're doing out in the world already and starting to craft your own offering, between the second and third year. And so I wanted it to be 1,000 hours of practice and teaching and work because that's what's needed to become a teacher worth your salt. You can't just come to a workshop or, even go to the virtual workshop or the embodied relationship experience and learn enough to be able to really teach. You need to be in a lab and in a committed container for that kind of deep, to call yourself a teacher worth your salt, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
In my experience, I didn't even get to teach. Wait, I didn't even get to assist until I'd
Huh.
been my teacher for 5 years.
With David for 5 years.
5 years, 5 years. Then I
Uh,
got to assist. I assisted for 3 or 4 years before I even had a fucking conversation with him. And then, and this is the different. I have a different model, right? And then I got to teach with him for a couple 3 years, right? But that took 13. It was almost 15 years in total. And I want people to be able to learn faster because
sure.
everything's speeding up and we need to get this stuff out
Get
faster.
the stuff out. Yeah, for
But
sure.
3 years is the fucking minimum, in my opinion.
Yeah, no. I've been at this for 25, and the more I learn,
Yeah,
the more I feel like a student. There's more to
yeah, me
always more
too.
to learn. Yeah.
Me too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just signing up for a third year with a teacher of mine that I've worked with before who works in shamanic and energetic realms and so I'm learning. I'm going to continue to learn,
Mm,
to
yeah.
all this.
So good. So good. All right. So johnwineland.com. That's where they can go to find all this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, both of those things are on johnwineland.com.
Okay, awesome. And your podcast under the same name, The Embodied Relationship Experience.
Yes.
Um, as we complete, um, yeah, what are you enjoying? You're
Mm,
going through a conscious uncoupling, but
yeah.
you're launching all of this. Like, what is making you alive,
Mm,
happy?
that's a great question.
So,
Um, I love to write. So I'm
hmm.
in the midst of writing my second book.
Amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And the second book is on those pillars of sacred intimacy, the art of sacred intimacy, it's called.
Uh-huh.
And I love writing. So I love
Mm,
taking the things that we just talked about, the
yeah.
practices, the approaches, and just putting them down. And when I write, if I write every morning, the rest of the day I just feel on purpose and
Mm,
giving my gifts, and so writing really is lighting me up now. Hopefully the book will
wow.
be out next year. Of
Oh, fantastic. Well, let us know. We will promote it to everyone.
course.
Yeah. Since we spoke last, what's lighting me up is I went through a kind of rough breakup a while back, and I went through psychedelic somatic integration work. I'd
Yeah.
done a lot of ayahuasca decades ago, but not this tier one work. And it was so supportive for integrating my trauma, my autonomic nervous system, and now I'm providing it to my clients in this
Oh,
intimate way of being with their bodies and their
yeah.
body sensations and their emotions and supporting them has been so rewarding. So I'm glad we're finding our happy places while
Yeah.
serving our
Yeah.
communities.
Oh, I love that. I'm actually starting to do that with some of the couples that I coach, working with some medicines and some
Yes.
substance to get them deeper into the experience of practice. And
Yeah.
it's sort of uncharted territory. And
Yeah.
for many years, I did not do that. For 25 years, I was sober. 26 years, I was totally sober.
Got
And so
it.
starting to work in that space with intimacy work, it's
Yes.
super, super
Wow.
powerful. Yeah.
It's like rewiring their secure attachment to themselves. It is the
Yeah.
most exquisite, beautiful. Oh, it feels like everything that I've been trained in has been to have this peace
Yeah.
in all. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So fantastic, fantastic. Thank you for making time to
Yeah.
be. Thank you
Yeah.
for all that you're up to. I look forward to this applying for your teacher training. This really enlivens me right now.
Good. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we'd love to have you. Yeah, I think you would get a lot out of it.
I think I
Yeah.
would. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So, all of you beautiful listeners and viewers, I'm sure many pieces of this conversation touched something, maybe enlivened and inspired something, maybe triggered you, maybe brought some tears, maybe brought some regret. I don't know, but something. So my request is when you're done, take a moment, maybe go put your feet outside, maybe take a moment to journal, maybe take a moment just to be quiet. And whatever it was that got enlivened or inspired by this conversation, please take an action. One of those actions, obviously, is to go to johnwineland.com, check out the Embodied Relationship Experience platform or the training, like me, hang out with me for the next year, perhaps. And maybe it's just to say, as we said, I know you never want to hurt me. It's to go back like I'm going to and have this, tell me your experience of being with me for the last 9 months. Allow it to change the trajectory of your life because you took the time to really drink in and be moved and touched by this conversation. That would make us both very happy. And all of our love and our wide open hearts to yours. Thank you, John, for being with us today. And thank you, all of you, for giving me the pleasure of loving the shit out of you every week here on Intimate Conversations. I'm a very blessed, grateful lady. Until next time, all my love.
See you next week on Intimate Conversations. Get out there and make love to life. Just finished tennis. I'm about to go get my toes done. This morning, I went for a really nice walk with my ex-boyfriend. And what's really wild is that now that he's rejected me, I don't have any fear of rejection. I didn't know how much I was still withholding like 100% authentic truth moment to moment for fear of him breaking up with me. And isn't that curious how that created him breaking up with me? So I didn't see my blind spot. I didn't see where I was still people pleasing, still placating. Not that I'm walking around being like a bitch or anything. I'm just freer. And we're still broken up. I'm still moving on. I've learned a lot about what I need in a home, in a relationship, in the way I can have deeper being held when I'm in my emotions. Like, I've learned a lot. No regrets. And wow, the friendship that has returned when I'm not so walking on eggshells has been a really big lesson for my growth and evolution. Wasn't it amazing in this podcast how both John and I were consciously uncoupling at the same time? He gave me that assignment. Remember in the podcast about, I just like to hear your experience of being with me. And in the past, that was pretty hard to hear the things that I did from his point of view that really hurt him and disappointed him. But as we were going for a walk, I was able to really receive them, not justify, not react, really get into his world. Wow, that must have been tough on you. And he felt so heard and seen that after I received that without justification, really fed it back to him and said, well, I imagine that must have made you feel like you were walking on eggshells around me. Then he moved right into gratitude. He moved right into, but my heart is so much more open because of you. I'm more in my body because of you. I feel more because of you. My life is, but then he went into this whole diatribe of gratitude. Unbeknownst, it was so beautiful. We're consciously uncoupling and we're both better because of this relationship. I've never experienced such kindness and gratitude and ability not to react and invitation to be more myself. The work works, people. The work works. Please learn more about this amazing John Wineland. johnwineland.com. There's the Embodied Relationship Experience platform. Go for it. That's a great way to dip your toe. I've personally applied for the teacher training. I'm always evolving and growing and ready to be shown my blind spots and be inspired to the next level of capacity for my clients. So check that out if that resonates with you. Check out his podcast. Great episodes. I was listening to one of them in the infrared sauna yesterday. Just such a blessing to have such a great man and his teaching partner Kendra in our life and in our community. So check them out. And if I can be here and support you, what a delicious community we have, where we are real, and it's so safe to feel, and it's so safe to celebrate. It's just safe to be human. So we welcome you. I look forward to connecting with you. All my love.